Sean Kingston is trending worldwide right now, and not for the reasons fans might have hoped. The singer-rapper who once defined an entire era of summer anthems has just been sentenced to 3.5 years in federal prison after being convicted in a $1 million fraud scheme. According to court documents, Kingston was involved in a plan that defrauded individuals and businesses of large sums of money, promising payments that never came through, and accumulating more than $1 million in damages. The sentencing has brought a dramatic low point to a career that once shined with so much promise, leaving many fans stunned at how far the artist has fallen from his days of topping the charts. To understand why this story has shaken so many people, you have to go back to the beginning. Sean Kingston, born Kycian Paul Anderson on February 3, 1990, in Miami, Florida, grew up straddling two cultures. His parents were Jamaican immigrants, and much of his childhood was spent in Kingston, Jamaica, the city that would later inspire his stage name. That blend of American and Caribbean influences shaped his identity and his music, giving him a unique sound that mixed reggae, dancehall, pop, and hip-hop. From the start, life wasn't easy for him. His family faced financial hardships, and at one point, Kingston, his mother, and his siblings were forced to live out of a car. But even during these struggles, he found inspiration in music. Artists like Bob Marley, Buju Banton, and later, hip-hop stars such as Nas and Notorious B.I.G. influenced his style, giving him a lyrical edge while keeping his sound upbeat and melodic. Music became both an escape and a dream. That dream turned into reality in 2007 when Kingston released his debut single Beautiful Girls. The song was an instant global phenomenon. With its catchy doo-wop-inspired hook and reggae pop fusion, it topped the Billboard Hot 100, making him an international star at just 17 years old. Practically overnight, Sean Kingston went from an unknown teenager to one of the most recognizable names in pop music. His debut album, Sean Kingston, released the same year, produced more hits and cemented him as a fresh new voice, blending genres in a way that appealed to a wide audience. The late 2000s and early 2010 marked his peak. Songs like Take You There and Fire Burning became club staples and summer soundtrack favorites. He collaborated with huge stars, including Justin Bieber on Eeny Meeny, a playful pop duet that became an anthem for teens around the world. He worked with artists like Chris Brown, Nicki Minaj, and Wiz Khalifa, showing that he had the versatility to blend into multiple music scenes. By the time he was 20, Sean Kingston wasn't just a rising star. He was a household name, one of the defining voices of a generation's playlists. But his career took a sharp turn in 2011 when tragedy struck. Sean Kingston was involved in a near-fatal jet ski accident in Miami. He collided with a bridge and suffered severe injuries, including broken bones, internal bleeding, and a torn aorta. He spent weeks in critical condition and underwent multiple surgeries to save his life. For many fans, the news was shocking. An artist who had been a symbol of carefree, upbeat music was suddenly fighting to stay alive. Although he eventually recovered, the incident left him physically and emotionally scarred, and it stalled his career at a crucial time. After his recovery, Kingston returned to music, but he never quite reached the heights of his early success. He released singles and mixtapes, collaborated with younger artists, and tried to adapt to a changing music landscape dominated by streaming and new genres. While his loyal fans continued to support him, his mainstream popularity began to fade. At the same time, headlines about Kingston began shifting away from music and toward controversy. Over the years, reports emerged of unpaid debts, lawsuits, and financial troubles. He was accused multiple times of failing to pay for luxury goods, cars, and services. In some cases, he was sued for allegedly writing bad checks or failing to make payments after flashy purchases. These stories started to overshadow his musical output, raising questions about whether the star who once seemed unstoppable was spiraling out of control. The fraud case that has now landed him in prison is the most serious of these controversies. Prosecutors outlined a scheme in which Kingston and his associates obtained luxury items, services, and money under false pretenses, never delivering payment. The damages added up to over $1 million, and after a lengthy investigation, he was convicted. The sentencing, 3.5 years in federal prison, marks a dramatic fall from grace for someone who once had the music world at his feet. For fans, the news is heartbreaking. On one hand, Sean Kingston's legacy is secure when it comes to music history. Songs like Beautiful Girls and Fire Burning are still iconic, instantly transporting listeners back to the late 2000s whenever they play. His collaborations with Justin Bieber and others are nostalgic reminders of a more carefree time in pop culture. But on the other hand, his recent troubles paint a picture of a career derailed by poor decisions, financial mismanagement, and perhaps the darker side of fame. There's also a bigger story here, one about the pressures of achieving sudden fame at such a young age. Sean Kingston was barely 17 when he was thrust into global stardom, with millions of dollars, worldwide tours, and industry expectations placed on his shoulders. Many young artists in similar situations have struggled to manage the transition, and in Kingston's case, those struggles appear to have caught up with him in devastating ways. Now, as he begins serving his sentence, the question remains, what does the future hold for Sean Kingston? His music will live on in playlists and memories, but his career as an artist is now at a crossroads. Will he be able to rebuild once he's released, or will this conviction mark the end of his time in the spotlight? Only time will tell. For now, Sean Kingston is trending not because of a new single or a viral performance, but because of a legal downfall that has left fans stunned. From teenage superstar to a man serving time in prison, his story is a cautionary tale about the fragility of fame and how quickly success can slip away. And yet, for the millions who grew up singing along to Beautiful Girls, Sean Kingston's music remains a part of their lives. Bittersweet now, but unforgettable.